as I said, that's the trailer of the film, which I'll share with the history teachers, and perhaps sometimes I'm sure we'll use it in a unit later this year. But I just will pick up on that. You say in the trailer what the world can learn, what it means to survive. What does it mean to survive?
Well, to survive means a lot, because it means that we have a responsibility throughout the world. That what happened to us is not good. It's extreme. It's inhuman. And to survive means to take action to prevent from any type of things to happen again in any society, to any people, because we know how to be discriminated means. We know how to lose your family means. Is that clear?
No, we have another half hour.
Okay. I know, I personally know how to lose my family when I was 9 years old. It means I needed them. I needed my mother. I needed my father. I needed my family to be there. And yet, as long as I have the capacity, as I'm not traumatized, I am a little bit. But it's my responsibility to tell people this is how it means, this is how it feels. It's a pain. It's really strong. And I don't want anybody to experience what I experienced. I don't wish, as long as I feel like I still have humanity, kind of feel like humanity, I don't want anybody to experience what I experienced. And that's why I feel like it's my responsibility to tell you guys to join me in telling people to love each other, to like each other, maybe love is something else, to respect each other, at least the minimum of respect. As somebody you don't share the same ethnicity, you don't share the same belief, you don't share the same ethnic background, the history or something. That's, I think, what the humanity needs, a little bit of respect, mutual respect among of ourselves as humanity, as part of this planet. I think that's what it means to survive for me.
So we've had 2 sessions so far, and in those sessions, Emmanuel has gone through a lot of the story of what he experienced in the lead up to, in the beginning, the genocide, and even what happened during the genocide. And you can imagine, having survived this, that this is very hard to try and recount and recall and relive. So I thought, I was just thinking, and I guess we're being informal a little bit here, but rather than ask him to go retell that whole story again to you, but to maybe again see what questions you have about what would you want to know, what would you be most curious about, Madison?
What age did you really come to terms with what had happened, and how were you able to move past and overcome the trauma?
Well, I still struggle. I still struggle with all of that. I don't think I'm recovered yet. And it's not something that just happened once and it's over. I still struggle. I still fight to be, to know how by the anger. Yet I still have the responsibility of carrying my memory of my people. And it's a struggle. It's continuous until maybe I'll die. Until I've never exist.
Josh.
So the name of your movie is Camorra, and that means to heal. So are you focusing more on healing the victims of the genocide, or healing the way people think of each other, like trying to prevent this?
Yeah, mostly both ways.
Okay.
I feel like when it's a kind of a discussion you have before producing this, who is going to watch this movie? Who are we making this movie? And the first priority is to be the orphans, to tell their stories, teach each other that they can make it, they can do it, they can overcome, they can strive to be the best they can be. But also teaching people around the world in different communities, whoever who are interested, to know that this is what happened to Rwanda, and this is what is still happening, and maybe we hope that the future is going to be bright. So to heal means like it's a process. It's not like a conclusion of what happened. It's a process, but so far so good. Despite the many memories and shock and consequences, I think better also to see like some people had to overcome, and this is how they're dealing with the healing. Because there is no one single picture on putting on healing, especially when it comes to the story of genocide. A very shocking society. You can't say, okay, it's healed, it's over. Is that how it's healed, hard or something?
Healed.
Healed. So people still struggle, as I just said, but you have to make sure that it's your responsibility to move forward. But also to let other people, this is what happened to Rwandans, but what is happening somewhere else? Are we really learn from history? Because I feel like somehow people have to be responsible in taking care of others, and some people have to take care of themselves and prevent it from happening. I think it's part of saying it. This is what happened, this is what I experienced, and yet nothing is being improved. Not only in Iran, but somewhere else in different societies, in different countries of this planet. Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? I'll throw one. Talk about.
Yeah, he has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one.
When I think I saw you talking to a guy that was participating in genocide in that movie. Like, what did you feel when you were talking to him?
Well, as I said, since I started to grow up and have all those questions, what does really life means, what does human being is, I was wanted always to talk about, I mean, not to listen from the survivors, but also listen to the killers, farmer killers, the perpetrators, to see what were you thinking that time when you pick up the machete and talk. Because, I don't know, I just wanted to know if maybe he's a human being like me, if he knew that he knew what he was doing, maybe what he feels after then. So that's pretty much why I wanted to talk to him and see if he's really having kind of humanity in him, I think. And most of the response, not only him, but others, many others, they were saying we're human. And I was upset someday because the guy said, we were taken by a devil. Government told us to do so. Our chief neighbor told us to do so. And nobody wants to kind of have the responsibility that I did. And this is so scary, huh? It is scary. But it's the thing that also it's part of how human beings will react after these things of rejecting our responsibilities to someone else. And so I learned the complexity. Does that make sense? Of the nature, human nature. It's so intense. And I learned about how people, all of us, if you can kill 7 people and you go back in your community and be part of sort of today's community, I feel like so you never know when I, as a human being, will turn like evil and come back to the real life. So it's kind of teach me how everybody, each one of us, including you, we have potential of good as well as evil. Does it make sense? So that's my purpose to talk to. I loved getting together and learn from you. And also, like hearing people who forget. the people who killed their family. It doesn't make sense to me. Because we do still live in the same society, coexisting, interacting, everyday life, sharing the sidewalk, public transportation in the buses, going to the same church. And the church, sometimes they were coming and kill some people in this church because there were snakes, evil, cockroaches. Just kill these cockroaches and snakes. And so, what is human being then? But you, at the end of everything, you realize like each one of us has potential of doing good things and bad things. It's just the matter of when and where and other multiple circumstances that made the genocide to happen. I don't know, does it make sense that way? Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much what comes in my mind.
The question I was going to ask you, which you started to actually get at there, was to try and describe Rwanda today. Rwanda 20 years after having gone through this horrible tragedy.
Okay, I
What is
answered
Rwanda
this.
like today?
Yeah, I answered this in two aspects, two ways. One aspect of individual aspect, as me, and the aspect of the Rwanda as a society, as a country. So, and I would like maybe to start with Rwanda as a society because it's what it matters. I think it's where we take a big lesson because if I start by me, I'll be biased as a survivor. But in Rwanda, since 1994 until today, it's been a lesson. It's been a place of hope and future. It's being a lesson of how if people get together and get united, can do amazing things. One of them is the most forgiving society, if I may say, because it doesn't make sense how people are killing each other and then after a certain time and they're again existing in the same society. I don't think it's just a product of nothing. So it's a place of a resilient people as they maintain all those things together to move forward. It's the safest country in East Africa, in the whole Africa, if I'm not mistaken. It's an example of gender equality, which we have 60% of women in the parliament, lawmakers, like in our Congress, kind of Congress. 64% are women. It's trying to get all those pieces together to see how they can make a difference from the darkness. As an individual aspect, 20 years have been years of pain and sorrow and the struggle. It's been years of trying to figure out who I really am, running out after the life to try to catch up the life to see if I can be like anybody else who would be probably my age, who can achieve things as anybody else. And I try to do so in my own way. It's been years of pain as a survivor, having my family, some being traumatized from what they've seen. Seeing people give up on their life, committing suicide friends, because what happened to them they can't conceive, they can't put in their mind. And it's been a struggle, very complex life, but I'm glad that today I can stand here and be able to tell you what I feel, and I hope you guys will make a difference in the future. You never know who's going to be the Secretary General of the United Nations. You never know who's going to be the president, as we believe in a decent great nation as a superpower of the country. that have to intervene or to teach the universal principles of respecting each other. I hope you guys will be different from the leaders we had who stood there and watched. The entire world knew what was happening. And we had United Nations presence on the ground. Instead of intervening or something, they pulled out. They pulled out. They say it's not our problem. And it's not our problem, it starts in our community, just simple things. And it grows, it grows. I think this is the time that we have to change, as we have to believe in other countries and powers and be dominated and governed as it is. It's how it is, we can't change it, it's how the system is, and it's beautiful. But we have to say who deserves to be served, who doesn't need to. Does it make sense, that one? Who is matters, who doesn't matters? Because at the end, for us, we ask, do we really matter as anybody else? Why the UN left us? And yet they made us believing in their forces and things. So it doesn't make any sense. And yet we are taught, I don't know, it's complex. So 20 years have been like a struggle and a big lesson from darkness to the light. And as we still struggle to, myself I still struggle to understand what is really going on, what is a human being, and all of those things I just said.
I'll ask another one then. You leave all the questions to me. You talked about you were from a family of 11. There were 9 of you and your parents.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you survived the genocide?
5 of us, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I'm from a big family, which is unusual because I consider myself as one of luckiest. I don't know if that's correct. Survivor, because at least I have older brother and sister that have been also listened and contributed to make me who I am today. And other families, they were completely exterminated. Nobody survived in some families. And some families, they were big families as we are, but they 1 or 2, and nobody survived. So I'm lucky one, but also I think it made me to feel like, because some of the people, when you have your own siblings and some have to deal with the trauma and get extreme trauma as a point of being crazy, I think I feel like, I don't know, maybe it sounds very crazy, but I felt like I want to make a difference and help my people, my siblings. And I try to make a difference and to be strong as I can, so I can help those who could not be strong emotionally as I do. And yeah, so yeah.
And after you lived with your older sister?
Yeah, my sister, my older sister, she survived when she was 21, 22, somewhere there. Sometimes I don't even know the age of my, which is crazy. But I was 9 years old, 10 years by the time I came back from Rwanda from refugee camp in Congo. And so I saw her and she raised me. And I love my sister so much. Because yeah, she was in the place of my mom, and she did everything because she knew that I was kind of spoiled, like mama's boy. I know the boys here are charging, yeah. You know, don't judge me, but this is how I was so spoiled so much. And so, yeah, she knew that's because I wanted the attention more than a cat. And so, and that's, I think, it's part of, you know, she tried to put me a smile and make me happy, and she's so sweet. I love her so much. Do you love your sisters too, yeah? Sisters are the best. Some sisters are the best. Some, yeah.
So Dave,
I have a similar experience I would like to share with you.
Where you from?
Jamaica.
You from Jamaica? How are you?
Alright.
Great.
In 2010, there was the American government was looking for this guy. He was a drug dealer, drug trafficker, traffic drugs from Jamaica to America. They wanted the guy, so they told the Jamaican government to get the guy, and if the Jamaican government couldn't get the guy, the American government would intervene. So by the Jamaican government doing that, they came to the community of the guy, and they would pull out all the guys out of their houses. They wouldn't take women, but they would take out all the guys, and if you look sweaty or if you look like if you were just running, they would take you out and kill you right in the street. And they would take out like a bunch of guys, tell them to run, and if you run, they would kill. They didn't do it to women. And that year, like 2,000 people died.
Really?
And a majority of them were men and like disabled people. And for us, or we had to get out of the community, we had to move through the sewage system. Because how the sewage system was built, they were not like underground. You could see the sewage system. We had to move out of the community in the night time. That's how we got here. So,
That's how you get here.
yeah.
You
that's
see?
Yeah.
So what I'm telling you is not only the Rwandan thing. And what was that?
2010.
That's right, 2010. After 6 years after, I mean, you see, so that explains why I think we have to be responsible and see different reasons, different discrimination for different reasons. So I think, you know, it happens anyway. So we gotta get something to do and make our community a better world. Change something at the future. Unless if you don't consider yourself as people who, but I do believe so. We can make it happen. We can make a difference. We can. Does it make sense?
yeah. We remember when we talked about this when we went to the State House. I think with anyone here was part of our testimony on the first day. One thing I sometimes tell them, and we put into our speech to the lawmakers there, that 200 years ago, this was slavery was that way, and people were struggling against slavery, and it must have seemed almost hopeless that they weren't getting anywhere, and slavery was they weren't making progress. But people kept struggling, and eventually succeeded in making progress, and making the world a better place, and making slavery, not completely, but I'll say something that is now in history. Human trafficking is actually still a major an issue and a problem, but not of the scale that it was 200 years ago. So we said we would like to look for the day when genocide, when mass atrocities like this are history. It's something we read about that happened hundreds of years ago, but doesn't happen anymore. That if we as a humanity could overcome slavery, we hope that we can overcome genocide too. But it takes thousands of people struggling against it, being aware of it, making other people aware of it. And that's what never again really means. It's not that we can stop, as you say, and not that we can all get on a flight and go to the Central African Republic and stop what's going on there. But we can make sure that we know about it, and that we talk to people about it, and we make people aware of it.
That's right.
Especially our leaders, especially our members of Congress, and make them know that we care about that and we want them to pressure the government to do what they can about it. And not what happened in Rwanda, where they say, oh, this looks dangerous. Maybe we better get out of it because some of us might get hurt. And that's why it was, I think hopefully, I know many of you found Carl Wilkins' story so inspiring, because when everyone else was leaving, Carl said, well, I can't leave and watch this happen. I have to stay and do what I can. And in fact, you said you interviewed some of the, or at least one of the people who were in one of the orphanages that Carl Wilson.
Yeah, he was head of the
Adventist Development and Relief.
Carl Wilkins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did interview him.
Yeah.
Is that who you-
Oh yeah, no, but Johnson. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
telling
Johnson,
Johnson's story. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me?
Sure. Oh, yeah, well, we have 5 minutes. So you can
Okay.
go.
I think you all know Carl Wilkins. You have this book, I'm Not Leaving, right? So I didn't know this guy. So, and when I started to work on this project, the film project, and I was working for survivors to tell me their stories and stuff. So, and Johnson, who one of the many other kids have been saved by this guy, by not just saying, I'm not leaving people behind, I'm not leaving my people. And so Johnson, we were in the same class, and so we told him about my project and how I want some survivors to tell me the stories that I'm going to tell in my field. And so he was not quite sure what he's going to tell me. He tried and tell me, and he told me how he escaped and ended up in being in this orphanage. And he told me how the guy who was hiding them, a Hutu who hid them, after other Hutu find out that he's hiding Tutsis who were traitors at the time. Anyway, so he told me that one day, the end of June, the whole community, the killers, knew that there are some Tutsis who had been there. So, and the killer took the machetes and materialized with the weapons, the grenades and machetes, whatever they were using. And so here they come, they want and surround the orphanage. At the same time, Carl Wilkins, this guy, the only American to stay in Rwanda, he showed up bringing he had a truck full of water, bringing it to the kids. There were also some adults hiding in different things, in roofs. And so he showed up, and the killer stopped it to enter because they saw, I'm not being racist, Muzungu. Muzungu means white people. And so they didn't want, because at some point, they didn't want to kill them in front of this guy. And so he stayed there, but he realized that once he's there, he's kind of preventing the killers to enter and kill everybody. And so it's a long story, but he tried in many ways to go and make this orphanage to belong to him. He ran to the guy, one of the planners, big planners, who was not far from this orphanage. He runs into him and then he said, I have an orphanage and he has like a lot of orphans and the killers, they are going to kill them. Can you help me? And this guy was the head of killing, he was the planner of genocide. And then he calls, radio call, whatever, and he calls and said, stop killing these kids. And they were moved, they were saved in this one. So, and then Johnson told me, and he keeps saying, and then we saw like a white guy and a white pastor and everybody, and so, and then we were not moved, and then he took us from somewhere else. And this is kind of makes me curious because I knew that whoever who is not being racist, but I knew that the French and Belgians and the other UN peacekeepers had already left. it made me curious to know who really went there and then safety. And then so I started to go there. I interviewed the director of this orphanage. And so I ended up by finding this guy. And I think you've seen him in a trailer. And so since then, we became friends. And a very supportive guy. To be honest, he's the reason why today I'm here.
It's his group that's
So, and his
sponsoring
group.
Emmanuel's
So-
tour this year.
So, yeah.
So we have 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Can I say something?
You can say something in 30 seconds.
Thank you so much. And I hope you're going to make a difference. Thank you.
Those you guys are late, we have been going all block, and I have to give Emmanuel dessert lunch. So we're going to print some stuff and but thank you guys. Oh, also, there's a card to sign at lunch. We're going to lunch right now. And Mackenzie may come down and try to get you to do the Rwanda 20 hashtag picture. We'll explain that to you. And Mackenzie to go for it. So this is great. We do something different. Hey, how was the? I was there. My daughter was in the 4th and 5th grade, 5th and 6th grade chorus. They sang the Cedar Hotel on Saturday.
Thank you.
So I went up for that. I didn't get to see you, but she has the. Yeah, I heard she was
3
there.
times? Really?
See you, Fred.
She enjoyed it? You didn't ask any question.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good to meet you too. Yeah, man, he's strong. He's strong.
I'm Samantha Rockley. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Even if she was.
I know you. You're like,
Because I saw you somewhere there.
Yeah. No, but
I figured I didn't find myself.
Molly Doncat, I think, is she's been.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm not funny.
Oh, no. I get it all the time.
No, it's a compliment.
Yeah.
You never go wrong by telling men she loves you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, that's always.
You do that? Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
would that be an insult in Rwanda?
I think so because.
Oh, American? Oh, you always did. Oh, you look like you should.
Well, it gets better.
Well, maybe not. 20.
Yeah.
That's a little.
So
Let me
how-
just turn my recorder.
I'm 26. Yeah, I know.